Pronouns. Personal pronouns. Pronouns are words we use in the place of full noun. We have both subject and object pronouns. Subject: I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Object pronouns: me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. We use he, him to refer to men, and she, her to refer to women. When we are not sure if we are talking about a man or a woman, we use they, them. This is Jack. He is my brother. I don't think you have met him. This is Angela. She is my sister. Have you ever met her before? Talk to a friend. Ask them to help you. You could go to a doctor. They might help you. Subject pronouns. We use subject pronouns as subject of the verb. I like your dress. You are late. He is my friend. It is raining. She is on holiday. We live in England. They come from London. Warning. Remember, English clauses always have a subject. His father has just retired. Not was a teacher. He was a teacher. I'm waiting for my wife. Not is late. She is late. If there is no other subject, we use it or their. We call this a dummy subject. Object pronouns. We use object pronouns as the object of the verb. Can you help me? I can see you. She doesn't like him. I saw her in town today. She saw them in town yesterday, but they didn't see us. After prepositions. She's waiting for me. I'll get it for you. Give it to him. Why are you looking at her? Don't take it from us. I'll speak to them. 2. Possessive pronouns. We use pronouns to refer to possession and belonging. There are 2 types of possessive pronouns, dependent and independent. We use dependent before a noun. We use independent in place of a noun. Is that your scarf? Dependent. It's very similar to mine, pronoun. It is very similar to my scarf. That's not their house, dependent pronoun. Theirs has got a red front door. It was his fault, not hers, dependent pronoun. Personal pronoun. I, you, he, she, it, we, they, one. Possessive dependent. My, your, his, her, its, our, their, one's. Possessive independent. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs, one's. We avoid using its and one's with apostrophe as possessive pronouns, except when we use them with own. The house seemed asleep yet. As I have said, it had a life of its own. One doesn't like to spend too much time on one's own. Typical errors. We don't use apostrophe s after possessive pronouns. Are those gloves hers? Not. Are those gloves hers with apostrophe? Apostrophe S is not used with the possessive pronoun its. Its with apostrophe means it is. The team is proud of its ability to perform consistently well, not proud of its ability with apostrophe. We don't use there with a dependent pronoun. I'm going to get my hair cut this afternoon, not get my hair cut. We don't use independent pronouns before nouns. Lots of our friends were at the party, not lots of our friends. 3. Reflective pronouns. When the subject and the object in a sentence refer to the same person or thing, we use a reflective pronoun. Subject pronouns: I. Reflective pronouns: myself, you, yourself, he, himself, she, herself, it, itself, we, ourselves, you, plural, yourselves, they, themselves. You in the singular is yourself, in the plural is yourselves. Example of the sentences using reflective pronouns. My daughter likes to dress herself without my help. I taught myself to play the guitar. My cat always licks itself. He accidentally cut himself while he was chopping the vegetables. She bought a present for herself. We helped ourselves to the free drinks at the lunch party. They injured themselves during the rugby match. I enjoyed myself at the concert. The dog is scratching itself. It must have fleas. 2. We use them for emphasis. The author signed the book for me herself. I did it myself. 3. In some cases, we use it to have a similar meaning to also. She was pretty happy last night. I was pretty happy myself. When not to use reflexive pronouns. 1. There are a number of verbs in English with which we rarely or never use reflexive pronouns, as they are in other languages. They include adapt, complain, concentrate, get up, hide, lie down, meet, move, relax, remember, shave, shower, sit down. 2. After a preposition of place or location, we use a personal pronoun and not reflexive pronoun. He put the backpack next to him. By plus reflexive pronouns. We use by plus myself, yourself, himself, etc. when we are alone or not with another person. Jacob went to the party by himself. Emma was sitting by herself. 4. Reciprocal pronouns: each other and one another. We use each other when two or more people or things perform the same action to the other. Our neighbors were shouting at each other all night. My brothers always compete with each other in sport. They didn't know each other's address. We use one another when more than two people perform the action among all, respectively. We all try to help one another. They all need one another's help. 5. Demonstrative pronouns. This, that, these, those are called demonstratives, and they are used to show the relative distance between the speaker and the noun. Demonstrative pronouns. We use this, singular, and these, plural, to refer to something that is here, near. Examples. This is my car, singular. These are our children, plural. We use that, singular, and those, plural, to refer to something that is there, far. Examples. That is our house, singular. Those are my shoes, plural. You can also use demonstrative pronouns by themselves. Did you do that? I would like to buy these. Which of those would you like? Demonstrative adjectives. You can also use demonstrative before a noun. These are called demonstrative adjectives. Example of demonstrative adjectives. This party is boring, singular. That city is busy, singular. These chocolates are delicious, plural. Those flowers are beautiful, plural. If an action is near in time, we tend to use these. If an action has finished or is in the past, we use that, those. Examples. This is a good meal at the time of eating. Those girls we met last night were silly at events that happened in the past. Present versus past. This is. The expression this is commonly used when you talk on the phone or you introduce people. Example. Hello, this is Peter. Carol, this is my friend Simon. Simon, this is Carol. Such. Example. Such was his answer. Here the demonstrative pronoun such refers to an explanation just made. 6. Interrogative pronouns. We use interrogative pronouns to ask questions. There are 4 main interrogative pronouns: who, whom, what, which. Notice that the possessive pronoun whose can also be an interrogative pronoun. An interrogative possessive pronoun. Subject, person. Who, object, whom. Thing, what. Person, thing, which. Person, whose. Notice that whom is the correct form when the pronoun is the object of the verb. As in, whom did you see? I saw John. However, in normal spoken English, we rarely use whom. Most native speakers would say, or even write, who did you see? Look at these examples, questions. In the sample answers, the noun phrase that the interrogative pronoun represents is shown in bold. Question. Who told you? Answer. John told me. Subject. Question. Whom did you tell? Answer. I told Mary. Object. Question. What has happened? Answer. An accident happened. Subject. Question. What do you want? Answer. I want coffee. Object. Question. Which came first? Answer. The Porsche 9:11 came first. Subject. Question. Which will the doctor see first? Answer. The doctor will see the patient in blue first. Object. Note that we sometimes use suffix ever to make compound from some of these pronouns. Mainly whoever, whatever, whichever. When we add ever, we use it for emphasis, often to show confusion or surprise. Whoever would want to do such a nasty thing? Whatever did he say to make her cry like that? They're all fantastic. Whichever will you choose? 7. Relative pronouns. The relative pronouns are subject, who, object, whom, possessive, whose, subject, which, object, which, possessive, whose, subject, that, object, that, no possessive. We use who and whom for people and which for things. Or we can use that for people or things. We use relative pronouns after a noun to make it clear which person or thing we are talking about. The house that Jack built. The woman who discovered radium. An 8-year-old boy who attempted to rob a sweet shop. To tell us more about a person or thing. My mother, who was born overseas, has always been a great traveler. Lord Thompson, who is 76, just has retired. We had fish and chips, which is my favorite meal. We use whose as a possessive form of who. This is George, whose brother went to school with me. Nowadays, we normally use who instead of whom. This is George, who you met at our house last year. This is George's brother, who I went to school with. When whom or which have a preposition, the preposition can come at the beginning of the clause. I had an uncle in Germany, from whom I inherited a bit of money. We bought a chainsaw, with which we cut up all the wood. Or at the end of the clause, I had an uncle in Germany, who I inherited a bit of money from. We bought a chainsaw, which we cut all the wood up with. We can use that at the beginning of the clause. I had an uncle in Germany that I inherited a bit of money from. We bought a chainsaw that we cut all the wood up with. 8. Conjunctive pronouns. Conjunctive pronouns who, what, whose, which. Their functions in a sentence and examples of use. Similarities with other types of pronouns. As relative pronouns, they indicate to the preceding person or an object. Also, they hold a connection function. In a sentence, they could serve as a subject, a predicate, an object, and an attribute. This music is exactly what we need for the party. Predicate. I don't want to know whose fault is this. Attribute. What you got is just disappointment and regret. Subject. I have no idea. What you have come for? object. Other example of sentences with conjunctive pronouns. She has gone to New York, which was her birthplace. Mary Brown, who is very generous, gave me these flowers. The girl who did the mischief should repay it. He who does his best should be praised. That is the man whose farm joins ours. 9. Negative pronouns. No one, nobody, none, nothing, neither, and no are all examples of negative pronouns. Negative pronouns indicates the non-existence of people or things. Which one we use depends on the subject of the sentence. We do not use another negative in a clause with nobody, no one, or nothing. For example, I don't do nothing. Wrong. Nobody and no one. Nobody and no one are used when talking about people. Nobody spoke English. No one understood what I was saying. Nothing. Use nothing for non-living things. His decisions have nothing to do with me. None. None can be used for people and non-living things. None of friends are going to the party. It's none of my business what you do. Neither. Neither means not one thinks or the other. Not either. Neither of our ideas was any good. No. When used as a negative pronoun, is used only with nouns. No student is allowed to talk. No smoking. Now let's get down to practice. Your taking the prize was a nice surprise. The children make their beds without my asking them to. Their singing inspired us. I so appreciated his helping out. Her coming to us was the right thing to do. I appreciate your understanding of the matter. I feel bad at his missing this opportunity. Their mocking of him was inappropriate. I love listening to his singing. Let's have some trial test now. You have to choose the right answer. It is in Scotland. They met for the first time. A. When. B. Which. C. Where. D. Whose. E. Why.